hot sauce gets a day, and Guantanamo Bay is told to shut down. Back on this day, today's date is January 22nd, 2024. I am back at work after a long vacation. All right, so that was ATV riding through the jungle. It was pretty intense. Now it's down to the beach. Part vacation, part I had to deal with the other channel. YouTube changed something in the algorithm and we didn't adjust properly. Today is the 22nd day of the year. You got 344 days left. It is the fourth Monday in the fourth week and the 33rd day of winter. You got 57 days left until spring. Today is National Hot Sauce Day. Are you a Tabasco person? Are you a Louisiana hot sauce person? Maybe you like spicy chili peppers of Southeast Asia. Do you like a mild hot sauce? I'm a spicy mustard type. Yes, there are hot sauces that are mustard based instead of, tomato based. Some people don't consider mustard hot sauce. I do. I like this really good one called Hot Mamas. It's from Belize. Oh my God, it's amazing. They have a YouTube channel that's extremely successful called Hot Ones, where this guy eats buffalo wings, getting hotter and hotter as you go through, and he asks questions between each chicken wing. And he has some pretty big celebrities on there. That show started back in 2015. If you look at the original guests, they really weren't that exciting. Then in season 2, somewhere around 2016, they had Tommy Chong on there, and the show started blowing up. They've had Tony Hawk on there, Kevin Hart, Travis Kelce, Rachel Ray, James Franco, Bryan Cranston, the great Bob Saget in 2017, Tyra Banks, John Mayer, Natalie Portman, Jeff Goldblum. Then during COVID, they had Paris Hilton on, and then all the A-list stars started coming on this show. If you ever get a chance, look up Hot Ones on YouTube. It's pretty good. All right, enough about hot sauce. It's National Hot Sauce Day, in case you didn't know. 1890, the United Mine Workers of America is founded in Columbus, Ohio. 1946, the creation of the Central Intelligence Group, the forerunner to the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, is created. 1973, in a bout for the World Heavyweight Championship in Kingston, Jamaica, challenger George Foreman knocks down champion Joe Frazier 6 times in the first 2 rounds before the fight is stopped by referee Al Marchetti. That was an amazing fight. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to really be watching boxing back then, but I've seen the video since, and it was amazing. Joe Frazier was a scary human being, and he didn't scare Big George Foreman. 1984, the Apple Macintosh, the first consumer computer to popularize the computer mouse and a graphical user interface, which, like Windows, was introduced during a Super Bowl 18 television commercial. My first computer was a Macintosh, and it was mind-blowing at the time. 2009, U.S. President Barack Obama signs an executive order to close the Guantanamo Bay detention camp. Congressional opposition will prevent it from being implemented. The Guantanamo Bay Detention Camp is a U.S. military prison located in Cuba. It opened on January 11, 2002 on the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, also known as Gitmo. The U.S. established the camp in January of 2002 to hold people who are considered enemy combatants in the War on Terror. Now, what's interesting about this is they were given prisoner of war status even though they weren't part of another country's military. These were terrorists. Normally prison camps are, set up for prisoners of war. So it was a little bit of a gray area and a little bit of confusion because technically these were not military personnel. These were civilians that were convicted of crimes. So terror was never part of the original, Geneva Convention and the rules of war that the United States follows. So there's a lot of uproar about this, but they continued on with it. Now, it looked like it was going to be shut down by President Barack Obama, but Congress pulled the plug on that one. In case you don't know, Guantanamo Bay is on Cuba, but it is a little area that's cut out and is considered part of the United States, even though it is on the island of Cuba. As of April 2023, of the 779 people detained there since January 2002, when the military prison first opened after the September 11th attacks, 740 have been transferred elsewhere, 30 remain there, and 9 have died while in custody. Over the years, there's been all kinds of accusations of torture and prisoner abuse. Amnesty International has been there and they've looked around and they've done some reporting and they consider Gitmo to be a breach of human rights and they think it should have been shut down years ago. In January 2018, US President Donald Trump signed an executive order to keep the detention camp open indefinitely. In May of 2018, the Trump administration repatriated a prisoner to Saudi Arabia. In early February 2021, US President Joe Biden declared his intention to close the facility before he leaves office, though the Biden administration has taken few steps in this direction. Who knows, it'll probably be open forever. Premiered on January 22nd, 2015, Backstrom. This was a police drama that centered on Everett Backstrom, an offensive and irritable police officer who is engaged in a constant struggle with his self-destructive tendencies. The series was based on the Swedish book series of the same name by Leif G.W. Pearson. This starred Rainn Wilson of The Office fame, and it had Sarah Clark in there, who I loved in Roseanne and Scrubs. It was a pretty good show. It lasted 1 season. Broke my heart. It was so good. The series is set in Portland, Oregon, and was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia. Born on January 22nd, 1959, Linda Blair. Remember her, movie actress from The Exorcist, which was so scary people cried in the lobby of the theaters back then. I remember seeing that all over the press way back then. I think I've watched like 20 minutes of that movie and went, yeah, this is way too boring. I've always heard it really picks up at the end. Anyway, she was born in St. Louis, Missouri. She is 64 years old, 65 today. Died on January 22nd, 2008, we lost Heath Ledger. Known for his role as the Joker in The Dark Knight, his death was voted the top 10 entertainment story of 2008. His meteoric rise was also attributed to his acting in 10 Things I Hate About You, The Patriot, A Knight's Tale, and Brokeback Mountain. A Knight's Tale was great, but him as the Joker was one of the best acting performances I'd ever seen in my life. There's a few that I think were just phenomenal. Morgan Freeman in The Shawshank Redemption. Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws and in The Goodbye Girl, if anyone remembers that movie. Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. The entire cast of Glenn Ross. Frances McDormand in Fargo, Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lamb, and Meryl Streep in just, I don't know, about everything she's ever been in. That's how good his Joker was. Sadly, when he passed away, he did die of a prescription drug overdose. And all these conspiracies started because his housekeeper, I think, who found him, ran down the hallway to the Olsen twins apartment, very rich apartment area, whatever. And the housekeeper ran down there and everyone said, oh, that's where he was getting his drugs from those two girls. No, she was running down there because she knew they had a bodyguard who was also like a paramedic, and she didn't call 911. She freaked out. She was, people lose it when they see something like that. Anyway, that was a tragic loss. We also lost Lyndon B. Johnson, the ex-president, on this date, but we talked about it last year, so I didn't skip him. We already did him. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.